A box of Krispy Kreme donuts sits under glass at a gas station. The price tag reads $12. The red neon "Hot Now" sign glows above it. Inside that box are donuts that cost 35 cents each to make. That is a 3,300% markup on fried dough and sugar. In 2016, this company was worth $3 billion. The recipe, unchanged since 1937. Same flour, same yeast, same glaze formula. Nothing new, nothing special, nothing different from what Vernon Rudolph mixed in North Carolina 8 decades ago. By 2005, the stock had crashed from $50 to $6 after an SEC investigation revealed accounting fraud. The premium was not the product, it was the distance you had to drive to get it. Free donuts built this empire. Then free donuts destroyed it. Here is how free became too expensive. In 1937, Vernon Rudolph bought a yeast donut recipe from a chef in New Orleans and opened a shop in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. People walking by smelled the donuts. They knocked on the door. They wanted to buy them. Rudolph cut a hole in the wall and sold donuts through it. That hole became the first donut drive-through window in America. The trick was not the recipe, it was the smell. Scent marketing before anyone called it that. By the 1960s, Krispy Kreme had 29 stores across 12 states, all in the South. The brand expanded slowly. Customers drove to find locations. The donuts were hot, they were fresh, and people believed fresh meant quality. The recipe never changed. The process never evolved, but the drive made it feel special. The Beatty family bought Krispy Kreme in 1976 and took it private. Through the 1990s, they ran a strategy built on scarcity. Donuts were only available in certain cities. People drove for hours. They lined up for boxes. Krispy Kreme was not convenience, it was a destination. By 1999, the company had 144 stores and pulled in $220 million in revenue. In 2000, they went public. The stock opened at $21 and jumped to $54 on the first day. Wall Street loved the cult brand story. Analysts wrote about customer obsession and regional dominance. The cult was real, but it was built on unavailability, not innovation. The product inside the box was still the same 35-cent donut Rudolph made in 1937. Scott Livengood became CEO and pitched something he called Donut Theater. Stores added glass windows so customers could watch donuts being made. The "Hot Now" sign became event marketing. When the light was on, fresh donuts rolled off the line. It worked. The company opened 60 new stores in 2 years. Celebrity endorsements followed. Morning shows featured the brand. By 2003, the stock hit $50. The company was worth $3 billion. Watching production made people believe in quality, but franchise agreements showed the truth. Every store used identical equipment. The process was automated. The theater was real. The uniqueness was not. It was the same donut everywhere, made the same way. Livengood pushed for aggressive expansion. The target was 500 stores by 2005. Donuts flooded into gas stations, grocery stores, and vending machines. By late 2004, there were over 400 locations. The problem was simple. Scarcity died. Customers stopped making pilgrimages. Krispy Kreme became another donut. The magic had been distance, and they eliminated distance. The stock started sliding from $50 to $30. Analyst reports mentioned oversaturation concerns. The product had not changed, the recipe was the same, but without scarcity, it was just fried dough. When you could buy Krispy Kreme at a gas station next to Slim Jim's, the premium story collapsed. In May 2004, the Securities and Exchange Commission announced an investigation. The accusation was simple. Krispy Kreme had been inflating its wholesale revenue numbers. The company forced franchisees to buy extra equipment they did not need, then it booked those equipment sales as franchise revenue. The technique is called channel stuffing. It was fake growth. CEO Livengood resigned under pressure. The stock crashed from $30 to $15 in weeks. Shareholders filed a lawsuit claiming fraud. Court documents revealed the company had overstated earnings by $24 million. The cult brand story had been propped up by accounting tricks. Wall Street bought the hype, then the numbers collapsed. Stephen Cooper came in as the new CEO for damage control. He closed over 100 underperforming stores. The stock dropped below $10, then below $6. Blind test data started circulating. Consumers could not taste a difference between Krispy Kreme and Dunkin' Donuts. Ingredient analysis confirmed it. Standard flour, standard sugar, standard yeast. The glaze was corn syrup and sugar, industry standard, nothing unique. Cooper's strategy was to return to core markets. Translation: retreat from the failed expansion. In 2005, the company disclosed a $135 million loss. The premium story had died when scarcity died. What remained was commodity pricing on a commodity product. The company shifted to wholesale partnerships. Donuts started appearing in grocery stores and gas stations nationwide. Pricing collapsed to $6 or $8 per dozen in supermarkets. The strategy was volume, make up the margin loss with scale. The problem was that commodity pricing killed the premium perception. By 2010, Krispy Kreme had over 7,000 wholesale accounts. The stock hovered around $4 to $5. Consumer psychology shifted. Krispy Kreme became a grocery store brand. The trick had reversed. Availability killed desirability. Franchise owners complained that wholesale was cannibalizing their sales. Documents showed the tension. Corporate made money from wholesale deals, while franchisees watched their customer base disappear. Between 2010 and 2015, the company focused on international growth. Markets included the United Kingdom, Japan, Mexico, and the Middle East. The strategy was to replicate the original scarcity model abroad. The Hot Now sign still worked in countries where Krispy Kreme was new. International stores grew to over 400. Revenue stabilized, but the US market kept bleeding. In 2013, private equity firm JAB considered a buyout. The stock traded around $15 to $18. The formula was clear. Scarcity worked once, then it faded. International expansion was not growth, it was buying time. The digital age brought social media promotions, free donut days, buy one, get one offers, loyalty apps. During the 2020 pandemic, the company gave away donuts to frontline workers constantly. The problem was they were training customers to never pay full price. Promotional calendars showed over 60 discount days per year. Consumer behavior shifted. People waited for deals. They skipped the regular price. The original model had been simple. Free samples drove paid sales. The modern version was this: free donuts killed paid sales. Between 2016 and 2020, average transaction value dropped 15%. The generosity became the business model, and the trap. Marketing shifted to nostalgia. The brand leaned into heritage. Since 1937 appeared everywhere. Retro packaging and vintage sign designs showed up in stores. Celebrity partnerships with Travis Barker and Post Malone followed. Limited edition flavors launched like Supreme Drops. The strategy was to create artificial scarcity through flavor rotation, but the core product was still commodity priced in stores. The stock fluctuated between $12 and $18. The brand had become a nostalgia artifact. Consumers were not buying donuts. They were buying the memory of when donuts felt special. The product had not changed. The perception had, and the perception could not carry premium pricing anymore. Inflation hit hard. Ingredient costs jumped 25%. The company could not raise prices without losing wholesale accounts. Franchise owners complained that profitability was collapsing. Several high-profile locations closed. The stock dipped to $10. Analyst reports cited structural challenges. The squeeze was obvious. Commodity pricing with a premium cost structure does not work. The company's response was focusing on profitable growth. The translation was closing stores and cutting costs. The free donut economy had finally imploded. The business model that built the brand had become the thing killing it. In 2024, Bloomberg published an investigative report on the franchise model. The data was brutal. 40% of franchisees were operating at a loss or breaking even. Franchise agreements required expensive equipment leases from corporate. The revenue model was exposed. Corporate made profit from franchise costs, not donut sales. Comparisons showed Dunkin' Donuts franchisees averaged 15% higher profit. Consumer surveys revealed the contradiction. Brand awareness was high, purchase intent was low. Everyone knew Krispy Kreme, nobody needed it. The stock sat at $11. Market capitalization was under $2 billion. The $3 billion valuation had been built on scarcity that no longer existed. Today, Krispy Kreme operates about 350 US stores, down from a peak of more than 400. Wholesale remains the dominant revenue source. The stock trades around $12 to $14. The company launched a premium line with filled donuts at $18 per dozen. Market response was lukewarm. The problem is simple. You cannot rebuild mystique after a commodity collapse. The company survives. It is profitable, but it never recovers the peak valuation. The consumer shift is complete. Krispy Kreme is an occasional treat, not a pilgrimage. Free donuts built the cult. Free donuts killed the premium. What remains is a company selling the memory of specialness. The Hot Now sign still glows red in the window. Same donut, same recipe. The production cost was 35 cents. But the world is different. The $12 cult product became a $6 grocery item. The question hangs there. Was it ever worth $12? Or did people just believe it was because they had to drive to find it? The box sits on the shelf now, discounted. Nobody is waiting in line anymore.